領域展開
Domain expansion, known in Japanese as Ryōiki Tenkai, represents the apex of Jujutsu Sorcery through an advanced barrier technique. This method creates a barrier that embodies the user's inherent domain, powered by their unique curse technique. Inside this domain expansion, the effectiveness of the user's curse technique is enhanced, ensuring that any deployed techniques will successfully strike their target. To initiate the expansion of an individual's domain, a unique hand gesture or signal specific to that user is necessary. Viewed from the outside, the barrier of a domain typically presents itself as a fully sealed, floating black sphere which can be maneuvered slightly as circumstances require. So let's start off with non-lethal domains. Historically, domain expansion was a technique more frequently employed as domains were not designed with killing in mind. Their primary function was to compel any individuals within to adhere to the stipulations of the incorporated curse technique. An example of this domain is Higuruma's deadly sentencing, which subjects his adversaries to a trial rather than aiming to kill directly. Moving on, we have incomplete domains. Domains expanded solely with cursed energy, lacking an integrated curse technique, are considered incomplete even if they encompass a barrier. This incompleteness often extends to domains that do not have a completely sealed barrier. The act of fully closing the barrier is crucial for embedding the curse technique within the domain, thereby activating its guaranteed hit effect. Absent this closure, the caster gains an enhancement of their curse technique, but loses out on the certainty of an unavoidable attack. Furthermore, domains that are forcibly shaped by external environments, resulting in a closed barrier, also fail to achieve the sure hit effect. Now let's talk about everybody's favorite domain, lethal domains. Expanded domains designed to be deadly are established within a barrier that is saturated with the caster's curse technique. This enhances the caster's power, ensuring that any curse techniques executed within the domain will always reach their intended target. The certainty of these techniques landing stems from the unique properties of the barrier's infused technique, which renders the domain particularly hazardous. Even Gojo's Infinity cannot halt these infallible attacks. Nonetheless, not every attack guaranteed to hit carries lethal intent. For instance, Hikari's domain is equipped with a sure hit capability, yet its primary function is to convey information to its target, facilitating quicker technique activation and increased potency during domain confrontations. Creating a lethal domain expansion is a highly complex process that demands substantial curse energy and expertise. It involves the generation of expansive, artificial environment along with the swift construction and activation of a barrier enriched with the user's curse technique. For instance, Megumi finds it challenging to fully realize a lethal domain as he is unable to form an autonomous space with a barrier. Without the proper enclosure of the barrier and its enrichment with his curse technique, Megumi's domain lacks a sure hit effect. Given the considerable challenge in casting a lethal domain, the capability to perform such an expansion is exceedingly rare, with even the majority of Grade 1 sorcerers unable to achieve mastery over it. Remarkably, Sukuna and Kajaku are exceptions, able to expand lethal domains without the need to enclose their barriers. Their domains, lacking any physical boundary, still guarantee hits on their targets. This feat, comparable to painting in the air as opposed to on a canvas, is considered divine within the realm of domain techniques. Now, as we all know, no power comes without its great responsibility and its drawbacks. So what are domain expansion drawbacks? Domain expansion is a tactic that carries both significant risk and rewards, offering substantial advantages in exchange for a large usage of curse energy. Gojo stands out as one of the rare individuals capable of performing domain expansion multiple times within a single day. Meanwhile, Hikari can only afford such repeated use by winning his domain's jackpot, which replenishes his cursed energy and stabilizes his curse technique. Even when the barrier or the domain environment is not completely realized, the act of initiating a domain expansion temporarily destabilizes the user's innate technique. During this vulnerable period, any attempt to employ curse techniques may result in their failure to launch as they fizzle out and become ineffective. So we can't have all these overpowered domains without ways to counter them. While it's possible to counter a domain's guaranteed hit by bolstering oneself with curse energy, this approach is generally deemed impractical. For those unable to expand their own domain, the only effective defense lies in the anti-domain techniques. Techniques such as New Shadow Style, Simple Domain, and Hollow Wicker Basket are designed to disrupt the domain's embedded technique, effectively neutralizing its sure hit capability. Escaping a domain from within borders on the impossible. The domain's internal cubic volume presents a distorted reality, complicating efforts to locate the boundary for anyone caught inside. Individuals attempting to find the domain's edge are highly susceptible to falling victim to its unfailing attack, and even if they do locate it, the barrier is internally fortified. Nonetheless, this internal reinforcement makes the barrier itself more susceptible to breaches from the outside. Under certain conditions, an ally outside the domain might manage to break through and perform a rescue. We also have Domain Clash. Countering an opponent's domain with the expansion of one's own domain stands as the most effective strategy, leading to a duel of domains where the superior domain always prevails. The duration it takes for one domain to overpower another during such a confrontation depends on the disparity in their refinement. For instance, Gojo's domain quickly overcame Jogo's, whereas Dragon's domain requires significantly more time to overcome Megumi's. In situations where domains overlap, their guaranteed hit effects are mutually nullified. In evenly matched domains where their combatants engage with their domains active, the battle tilts decisively the moment one participant sustains severe damage or their own domain collapses, enabling the opponent's sure hit attack to connect instantly. A three-way domain clash introduces an even higher level of complexity with numerous conflicting elements potentially causing the barriers to break down before the domains are fully established. Furthermore, engaging in a domain clash does not necessarily lead to the dominance of one domain over another. Initiating a domain expansion against a more sophisticated domain might also create an opportunity to puncture the barrier, allowing for strategic escape. So right there was domain expansion. I know a lot of these techniques and things within Jujutsu Kaisen be so confusing because Mr. Akutami be giving us full essays and paragraph descriptions on what some of these techniques is. So I'm here to be able to break that down for you guys so we don't have to spend 3 pages of an essay trying to find out how somebody uses this technique. So if you guys like this little series I'm starting, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.
Light is lovely.
Peace out.